This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNN Live, and we're at the LD Micro 11th Annual Main Event 2018 in Bel Air, California. And with me right now is Seth Gray from Lightbridge Corporation. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is LTBR. Seth, welcome back to SNN Live.
Great to be on with you, Bobby.
It's great to have you here. So for our audience, we'll start off with an overview of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Great. At Lightbridge, we're developing a nuclear fuel technology that will dramatically improve the economics and safety of nuclear reactors, and we think have a meaningful impact on climate change.
So the last time we did an interview with you was about 2 years ago, around this time, actually. So instead of getting a full update from 2 years, let's get, what's been going on in the company, let's say, in the last 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, well, 2018's been a very eventful year for the company. In January, we formed a joint venture called Enfission with Framatome, which is the largest manufacturer and seller of nuclear fuel in the world. And we're now working on a manufacturing facility in Washington State that will make the product.
All right, so tell me a little bit more about that. Maybe for those who don't know, what about Lightbridge's nuclear fuel technology is different than what's currently available?
Right. The fuel is a very different technology that we invented, we patented. This year, many of the new patents have come in, including in the United States. We own all the intellectual property rights. And with Framatome and their nuclear fuel intellectual property and expertise, we're going to bring it to market. And the fuel will run about 1,000 degrees Celsius cooler in the core of the reactors than the current fuels do. That will help dramatically improve the safety of the reactors. The fuel will last longer between refueling, so the reactors will run days on days that it otherwise would have been shut down. And it'll allow the reactor to make more power. And that increased power will be at a cost of electricity cheaper than natural gas, cheaper than renewables. Switching a reactor to Lightbridge fuel will be the lowest cost way to generate electricity on the grid.
So if on the production facility side, if you can tell us, from what you can say, where are we at in the development and building of this plant?
Well, one of the things that Framatome brings to us is a tremendous industrial capacity. So in Washington State, in the city of Richland, they have one of the largest nuclear fuel manufacturing facilities in the world. It's at part of that site that we're taking some of their old equipment out of a building, decontaminating it, putting in our new equipment that will make the Lightbridge fuel. We're going to make fuel there that will be demonstrated in a research reactor at a U.S. National Laboratory in 2020, and full-length fuel rod, what's called a segmented rod with different parts of it along the rod with different aspects we'll be testing that will go into a commercial nuclear power plant powering a city in 2021. So this is moving fast for nuclear technology, and in 2021 we'll see fuel made there in Washington State in a reactor powering a city.
So at the very beginning, you also mentioned that the nuclear fuel technology you've developed and are developing could have a significant effect on climate change. What did you mean by that?
Well, nuclear reactors don't emit any CO2. And by having Lightbridge fuel, reactors will make even more energy, even more non-emitting energy. A nuclear reactor is the equivalent of an enormous amount of solar or wind or other renewables all at one site with about a 3 million to 1 advantage, what's called energy density advantage. One nuclear reactor instead of a coal plant displaces a tremendous amount of CO2 emissions. So converting existing reactors to our fuel, making even more non-emitting electricity, the economic advantages of the Lightbridge fuel justifying extending the licenses of reactors and keeping them operating, producing non-emitting electricity, and the better economics of our fuel justifying building new reactors. We think will be a key part of fighting climate change. A new reactor with Lightbridge fuel will make 30% more electricity than not using Lightbridge fuel. So it's a significant advantage. And there's really no way to add up to meeting the climate change goals of the world without keeping the nuclear we have and adding to it. And we think the Lightbridge fuel will be a big part of achieving that.
And for those who may have missed some previous interviews together, what's your background? I mean, how did you come into all this?
Well, my background originally was as a lawyer dealing in high technology, international transfer, got into nuclear, transfer of nuclear technology, and originally got into nuclear and nuclear fuels as a lawyer.
And then from what you can tell us, and you've alluded to this already a little bit, but what are some of the company's growth drivers now going into 2019?
Well, the big ones will be the licensing advancement with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, submitting the full licensing package to the NRC for the fuel. We've already had our first meeting with the NRC. There will be public meetings. The public will be allowed to come and comment. We're going to see great progress on the manufacturing facility in Washington State, announcements for the fuel testing at the research reactor at a U.S. National Laboratory, and the big one, the customer-driven announcement, will be for that what's called lead test rod, the first fuel in a commercial reactor powering a city. And we'll see all those in 2019.
And where can our audience go and find more information about Lightbridge?
Well, the easiest way is at ltbridge.com.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNN Live, and we're at the LD Micro 11th Annual Main Event 2018 in Bel Air, California. With me again has been Seth Gray from Lightbridge Corporation. It's a publicly traded company. This symbol is LTBR. Seth, thank you for joining us again.
Pleasure being with you again. Thank you.